Hello everybody, this will be another draft analysis video for the second league I've drafted in for now. This league is actually my own league. I decided to start up a second one because my brother wanted to join a league. He seemed interested in the format, and Raul and I both thought that doing a second league at the same time would be pretty interesting. We started up. Alright, I started up a second league. It doesn't actually have a name because I was too lazy to give it one, so let's probably refer it to as like my draft league from now on. But I'll get into my picks. I was sixth pick in the draft, so I actually didn't get. I was actually able to get a pretty good first pick as opposed to last draft being last pick in the draft. And I picked up Megalopines for my first pick just because it's extremely strong, extremely fast, almost actually nothing resisted stab. I don't think there's anything out there that resists both normal, fighting, scrappy. So it's just a fantastic breaker, fantastic cleaner, just very good. So I wanted it. Yeah, not much to say about that. It does get some pretty interesting things though, like Encore, Last Resort plus Fake Out is neat set. I could be able to run Heal Bell if I know I'll need it. Healing Wish, Magic Coat, Thunder Wave. So there's some neat things you can do with it. So for my next pick, I wanted to grab something that could take flying moves and fighting moves that would be coming into Lopunny that are super effective and be forcing it out. Oops. And I decided that the best thing for that would be Zapdos, just because it's extremely great wall, defogs. Its typing is just fantastic. It's just a really good Pokemon. I really enjoy using it, and I thought it fit well with Lopunny being able to always be a reliable switch into a lot of things that would be able to force Lopunny out. Mainly Scarfers are things that are extremely fast, and Zapdos should be able to deal with those pretty well. So yeah, Zapdos I have in the other draft, so I'll have two. I'll have Zapdos in both leagues currently. Yeah, I really like Zapdos, and mainly be using it defensively, but it can be offensive as well depending on the scenario. I really like Reflect with it too, or Dual Screens made as well. Whirlwind, Volt Switch, gets a lot of good moves. And Baton Pass in this league, it's GBA tiers. So yeah, there's my tier or my Mega I chose first. I probably should have mentioned that earlier, but yeah, it's GBA tiers. My Mega I chose first was Lopunny, and my first tier one was Zapdos. And in this league, agility is allowed, or not agility, but a baton pass is allowed, but speed cannot be passed. So I can baton pass with it, but I don't think it would ever be better than Volt Switching. For my next pick, I decided to go with my first free and chose Zygarde. Zygarde I also have in the other league. I just really like Zygarde, and I wanted another really strong physical breaker to go along with Lopunny, just to have two physical breakers that can break for each other. I probably could have gone with pretty much any physical breaker in the tier, but I just really like Zygarde, and I felt like, I don't know, maybe some of the best things that would be stopping Lopunny are bulkier steels that have a second type that offsets their fighting weakness, and Zygarde would do decent against them, but they also have decently spread out speed tiers. But I really don't have too much rationale for picking Zygarde than just having a solid physical breaker, and I really like Zygarde. So I have Zygarde in both leagues. And there's 180 of my 400 free points. But I do think Zygarde is a very good Pokemon. I do like to have it. Next, I decided I wanted. Oh yeah, it also has a lot of nice resistances too, just being a dragon type, which is also nice. Including rock and, well, ice. This does make me pretty ice weak having these two, but I do get a rock resistance to help out Zapdos. So next I decided I kind of wanted to get a bit of the Fairy Dragon Steel core going for just to make my team very strong defensively, because I do like to play with a very strong defensive backbone. By no means stall, but like Pokemon that can take hits well, but also are strong, like Zygarde, Sylveon, And as we see later, Metagross all can take hits pretty well, but also can deal damage back a lot. I like having that, being able to be both bulky, but also able to hit back strong. So Sylveon, I wanted just because all the fairy types were kind of going quick. Not going quick, but I wanted to get a pretty good one. I didn't want to be stuck with like a Primarina or something even lower. And I really like Sylveon. I like the Wish support. Heal Bell. And it's also just really strong as a fairy type in terms of attacking as well. So yeah, fairy type just for some good resistances and things like that. Next I wanted to get Metagross, because I just wanted a strong steel type as well. And I wanted a good psychic switch-in for psychic moves incoming at Lopunny as well. That would be forcing it out. And just to complete the core of these three. Plus Zapdos too is always nice to have. Makes it really strong defensively. It gets priority, gets rocks, which up to this point I didn't have. Yeah, great defense, which complements Sylveon because Sylveon has great special defense. Yeah, good typing, and a lot of key resistances that come with steel is what I need with Metagross. Also the key ice resist, because up to this point my team was very ice weak with a quad weakness, a weakness with my 2 defensive Pokemon, and then 2 neutrals. I definitely did the ice resistant Metagross. Next I picked Crocodile. Crocodile I just wanted because it's a good tier 3, a good ground type, besides Zygarde, good dark type, mainly for the dark typing, because at this point I'm pretty weak to dark, not necessarily dark Sylveon, but especially ghost types, and I didn't want to lose to things like Gengar and Mismagius. So yeah, I wanted a solid dark type. Its abilities in Intimidate and Moxie are great. 92 is pretty solid speed tier, good attack, great typing offensively, can do a lot of different things. It's just a great value pick for tier 3, and a good dark type, and I think dark types are extremely powerful and good to have on a team. So my next pick, oh yeah, up to this point, I felt like my speed tiers were pretty good. I had Lopunny, Zapdos at 100, Zygarde and Crocodile kind of that next gear, and then Sylveon, Metagross a little lower. I wanted to start to really fill in this gap between Zapdos and Lopunny though, especially between Zygarde and Lopunny, because Zapdos typically doesn't run max speed if I want to be defensive. So I wanted to try and fill things here, and I decided at this point that I wanted a grass type, I do believe. No, not yet. For my next pick, I ended up wrong team. Whoops. For next pick, I ended up grabbing Jellicent because I wanted a bulky water. Actually, it'd probably just be easier to look at this in this view, just so I can see everything. It's another good fighting resist to switch into the fighting moves incoming on Lopunny. Although by no means am I weak to fighting right now, because I do have 1, 2 resists, and the rest is neutral besides Lopunny. But it's always nice to have. And the water typing is mainly what I was after, having a good water switch in. At this point I have no water resists, and I have water absorb on Jellicent, so that's great. Also another ice resist, because at this point my team's pretty weak to ice besides Metagross, so being able to stack some more ice resists in isn't really nice. So yeah. So after this point I decided I really wanted to start finishing out my speed tiers, and I decided I really wanted a grass type. I felt that my team kind of had trouble with bulkier waters. I really had nothing strong to hit them with, because bulky waters a lot of the time will be able to wall Lopunny and keep it out with Scalds or threaten it with Scalds. Zapdos doesn't always do great against him just because it doesn't have much sheer power usually on its defensive sets. So I wanted a really strong grass type, and I really wanted Virizion at this point because it has a great speed tier to fill in this gap between Lopunny and Zapdos. But unfortunately, right before I picked Virizion got sniped. So I ended up going for Shaman in tier 3. I think Shaman is a great Pokemon for tier 3. It's really versatile. You can do a lot of different things, and stats are great, being the Pixie Pokemon with the base 100s across the board, but I did really want Virizion. I like Shaman, but Virizion speed tier and also has a lot of utility with being able to set up in different ways, and amazing speed stat with 130. I felt synergized well with Metagross being able to, one being able to take the special hits, the other being able to take physical. It's a good Scarfer. It could do a lot of different things. Shaman could do a lot of different things too, but I thought Virizion was a great value pick in tier 4, but unfortunately I lost it. And mainly speed tier is what I was after. I really wanted that speed tier between these two, and I didn't get it. So I got Shaman. Shaman is more commonly run at 100 than Zapdos is, so I guess Shaman's a bit more of a threat and reason to keep at keep your things that would be outspeeding base 100s honest there. So for my next pick, I really wanted a fire type, and I really wanted to get Salazzle earlier in the draft. I forgot to mention that. I think it was the pick I was going to take Crocodile. Salazzle got sniped. I wanted a really fast fire type to fill the gap in between these two. And Salazzle hit like 117 right smack dab in the middle of these two. Unfortunately, that got sniped too. So Talonflame's kind of just my shitty replacement because I wanted a fire type and I wanted something with speed in between these two, and that was about all that was left. I do think Talonflame is pretty cool though. Great speed tier, and I think even though Gale Wings is not nearly as good as it used to be, it's still useful. You can still, like, especially against flying weak teams, you'd be able to get that get a good sort. If you're able to get a Swords Dance off, you can really start to put in work with like acrobatics. It's not as strong as it used to be with Brave Bird and things like that, but it's not bad. So, and like it is pretty weak on the attacking side, but you can always Swords Dance to fix that, and it's fast enough so that it doesn't need the priority. It certainly appreciates it, because with the priority it didn't need to run speed, but it's still crazy fast at what, 126 I think. Yeah, 126. So it's still crazy fast. But yeah, I just needed the fire type and something in between them. So my next pick, I grabbed Lantern for my tier 5. I just wanted Lantern for a good electric immunity and water immunity. I have it in my other draft too. I think it's just a great pick for tier 5. Another good water type on top of Jellicent, so I don't always have to rely on it. A good electric answer for things that like to, especially because Zygarde a lot of times can't answer, especially the fast electric types is the problem with them. So Lantern does a good job against them. Just gives me some more options. I think it's a good Pokemon. For my last pick, I decided that I wanted to finally knock out that gap between my base 100s here and then Lopunny, or at this point between Talonflame and my base 100s, to get something in there to keep things that are slower than Talonflame but way faster than Zapdos and Shaman from creeping them. And unfortunately, everything that I wanted systematically got picked. It was Miss Magius that I wanted at first at 105 speed. You know, I mean, it's not that much higher, but it's something. That got swiped. And then I was like, okay. And at this point, I also wanted a strong special attacker, because at this point, everything on my team is physical, but like Zapdos, Sylveon, and like sometimes Shaman. And Zapdos isn't really ever an offensive threat. So I'm like Shaman and Sylveon. And Sylveon oftentimes isn't even an offensive threat. But even though defensively, Sylveon can still be pretty good, but still be pretty good offensively. But I really wanted to get a solid special attacker that's actually threatening. Although Shaman is threatening. So I ended up going... next, after that got taken, I wanted to go for Delphox. I already had the fire type on, but I was like, okay, whatever, it's a psychic type, I don't have that. It still gets me, that's at least something in that speed tier. It's not exactly what I wanted, but it's also a special attacker. I'll take it. And then that got taken too, so I was like, man, I just ended up going the Omega. It doesn't get that gap, but it does get speed boost, which does give me the threat of speed. And tinted lens, speed boost and tinted lens are both fantastic abilities. Stab is okay. Yeah, it's a decent special attacker. Yeah, 116 base is really solid, especially with tinted lens. So yeah, Young Mega, not the greatest pick. I might end up trading it for something in the 110 range, but there really was not much left. I was thinking about Archeops, but I didn't want to have even more physical attackers. But perhaps I was the right move, and perhaps I'll make the transaction for that later. But I was pretty much really happy with everything I drafted, except for that giant gap in speed to us there, and I tried to alleviate it, but everything I wanted that fit the role just slipped away, unfortunately. So yeah, other than that, though, I do really like the draft, and hopefully we can do well with it.